my lovelies, it is me again on my own personal road to WrestleMania 40 this April 2024. I have watched all the WrestleManias from WrestleMania 1. Today we are on WrestleMania 18. I have never watched all of these WrestleManias consecutively like this, so I'm super excited. Today, WrestleMania 18 is at the SkyDome in Toronto, as we Torontonians like to call it, Tirana. Today, the SkyDome is now called the Rogers Center, but at WrestleMania 18, March 17th, 2002, it was the SkyDome. There was an attendance of 68,237. Oh my God, I was not old enough to be at this. My mama would not have let me. Let's get into it. WrestleMania 18. This is my rundown. So the opening match of WrestleMania 18 was Sir William Regal. He is the IC champion at the time. He is going up against RVD. Actually, I had the pleasure of seeing him live finally in Toronto at an independent wrestling promotion called Greektown Wrestling. If you haven't heard of it, it's just phenomenal and can still go. Holy shit, if you saw him AEW, I mean, he's like what, like 45? I'm not sure, but man can still go. This rivalry between William Regal and Rod Van Dam was short-lived, but it was a pretty great rivalry. They were going back and forth for the Intercontinental Championship. In January at the Royal Rumble is when William Regal started using the brass knuckles, and he did try to pull them out at WrestleMania 18, but they got kicked out of his hand by RVD. This match only lasted about 6 minutes and change. Like the rivalry, it could have lasted a little bit longer, but it was a great way to start the show. These two men are super talented. William Regal did walk in as Intercontinental Champion, but he walked out without the belt because RVD did win, and I love to see it. Now I want to talk about one of my favorite Canadians. As you guys know, I am from Toronto. Christian Cage is from the Toronto area. Christian would be going up against DDP at WrestleMania 18. And what led to this is Christian Cage was on sort of a losing streak. And when he would win a title, he would lose it right away. So Christian started having these temper tantrums, and even at one point threatened to quit the WWF because, you know, my man just wasn't winning and he was acting like a child. Here comes DDP to be kind of his life coach, and y'all remember DDP, positivity guru with that big cheesy smile. At a Raw, Christian had a singles match and DDP came in to help him, giving Christian the win at this Raw. So how does my man Christian thank DDP? Well, he turns on him. He is also currently the European champion at the time. So he gives Christian a match at WrestleMania 18 for the European Championship. And oh my God, that smile that Christian does to mock DDP is something to behold. Oh my God, it's so creepy. Have a match at WrestleMania 18 for the European Championship. DDP gives Christian the diamond cutter and he wins. On his way out, he said, you know what, Christian, you took on the match. You may have lost, but you went out there and gave it a good college go. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, his whole shtick. And of course, Christian has another tantrum. So I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I love this whole thing, the Christian and DDP. DDP really trying to lift Christian's spirits on his losing streak, being his life coach, kind of, keeping him in the WWF. I don't know. I absolutely love this. Next match I want to touch on, and I will touch on it briefly because it will come back up later on the card, and that is a 3-minute match for the Hardcore Championship. At the time, Maven is the champion and he is going up against Goldust. Like I said, it only lasts about 3 minutes long. Maven wins, only to have Spike Dudley come out and pin Maven at the end of the match. So now Spike Dudley is the champion because it's technically a 24/7 belt, anytime, anywhere. So at the end of this match, Spike Dudley ain't even a part of it, but he wins. But hold that thought. And you're not going to have to hold it for too long. We go backstage, Spike Dudley, there's people chasing him. There is Al Snow in a golf cart. Who comes out of nowhere? Well, that is Hurricane. He pins Spike Dudley, 1, 2, 3. Now we have Hurricane as the 24/7 hardcore champion. It's also being said this first match with Maven and Goldust was actually only put on the card roughly 24 hours before WrestleMania even hit. They kind of just put it on the card because they wanted to have these backstage segments with the hardcore championship. Chaos all the time. Love it. Hardcore championship, but you know. Hurricane is now the hardcore champion. Next match that I'm going to touch on, that is Kurt Angle against the Big Red Machine. That is Kane. At this time, this is when Kurt Angle was a heel. He was getting the you suck chants, which I absolutely love. This is also at a time when Stephanie and Triple H, kayfabe, they were getting a divorce, and we will touch on that a little bit later. On February 17th, 2002, a little bit before this WrestleMania, we had a match between Kurt Angle and Triple H for the #1 contender spot to go to WrestleMania 18 for the heavyweight champion. Kurt Angle did end up winning against Triple H with a little bit of help from Stephanie McMahon. After this, we have a backstage segment between Kurt Angle and Stephanie McMahon. Kurt Angle taking all the credit, Stephanie McMahon giving it to him, like, so happy you beat my ex-husband. He'll never win that championship. But nay, Ric Flair comes in and says, tonight, Kurt Angle, you're going to have a match with Triple H for the #1 contender spot. Kurt Angle's like, I already did that. I already won. Well, you're going to have another one. Stephanie McMahon better not get involved this time. Kurt Angle goes on to have the match with Triple H yet again, losing for the #1 contender spot. So Kurt Angle thinks there's a whole conspiracy against him. He goes out to the ring. People are booing him. He's telling everybody that they suck. He says, anybody want to come out, have a match with me? I will F you up with my Olympic style. Let's go. Who comes out to challenge him? This open challenge. That is Kane. Kane and Kurt Angle go back and forth, costing each other a #1 contender spot for WrestleMania 18. Anyways, this leads to a match into WrestleMania 18. And if you remember at WrestleMania 17, Kurt Angle did have a match with Chris Benoit. He ended up winning that match, but he was doing a little bit of funny business and he was holding Chris Benoit's shorts. He ended up winning that match. At WrestleMania 18, he does win the match against Kane, but he has his feet up on the ropes when he's pinning Kane for the 1, 2, 3. So, I mean, Kurt Angle, mega heel, loved it. You suck. We're going to get into The Undertaker's streak, and ooh, was this a doozy. Last WrestleMania, he was up against Triple H, and that was the American Badass Undertaker. Well, we're getting the American Badass again, and holy shit, did I love this match. That is The Undertaker versus Ric Flair. This is a no disqualification match. This match is almost 20 minutes long. And at this time, Ric Flair is actually the co-owner of the WWF. He's not wrestling. Previously, The Undertaker does get involved with The Rock in one of his matches. He picks up The Rock in a match leading up to No Way Out. He picks up The Rock, gives The Rock a choke slam, and, you know, Ric Flair is co-owner. He detests The Undertaker for this. So at the event in February, No Way Out, The Rock has a match with The Undertaker. And who gets involved? Well, none other than Ric Flair. Ric Flair actually hits The Undertaker with a lead pipe, giving The Rock the win at No Way Out. So The Undertaker, he's like, nay, excuse me, sir. That means we are having a match at WrestleMania. But Ric Flair says, I'm the co-owner of the WWF now. I'm not having a match with you. So what does The Undertaker do? He starts attacking Ric Flair's friends and family. He attacks David Flair at one point. One of Ric Flair's good friends, Arn Anderson, he attacks him as well, trying to bait Ric Flair into a match at WrestleMania. It works. So glad it did. This match, again, The Undertaker is great. He's a well-rounded character, but American Badass Undertaker is my favorite in the ring. The match was so great. Please go and watch it. I'm going to have to say this is my favorite of the streak so far. For me, is better than the Triple H match. You let me know which match you like better from the Undertaker streak, Triple H or Ric Flair. At one point, Arn Anderson, he was previously attacked by the Undertaker to bait Ric Flair into this match. He does come in to help Ric Flair. That doesn't work. As we know, it's the Undertaker's streak. He gets the win at the end. Undertaker puts up both hands, signaling his 10th win at WrestleMania. And ooh, it was a doozy. It was a good one. So this next match, two of my favorite people at their time for sure. That is Edge versus Booker T. This match at WrestleMania was because of a shampoo commercial. There was a sign in the crowd. They're fighting over shampoo, and they both had great hair. I get it, okay. There was a Japanese brand that needed a spokesperson and a model for their shampoo brand. Help. Booker T really wanted this job. He really wanted this job. He started learning Japanese. He was going all out, learning all the words for this commercial. Booker T was putting in some work to get this job. Nay, people at the Japanese shampoo brand, they chose Edge. You know why? He had the hair of a lion. So, anywho, Booker T, he lost the opportunity to be in the shampoo commercial. And here we are. So, and as we know, Christian is having his temper tantrums. He did turn on Edge previously to this WrestleMania. But what's important right now is Booker T did not get the spot in that commercial. Going to WrestleMania, boys. And as we also know, Christian is from the Toronto area. I know people say he's from Toronto. He is not. He is from St. Catharines, which is about like an hour and a half outside the city. So it is what it is. But he is a hometown boy. We're going to cheer him like he's from Toronto. As they state at this WrestleMania a numerous amount of times, Edge was front row 6 years previously at a WrestleMania as a young boy. You could really see he does beat Booker T at WrestleMania 18. And when he is taking in all the cheers from the crowd, you could really see, how proud that full circle moment is. Man, he is one of the greats. One of the best Canadian wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers. He's in my top 10 forever for a reason. It was a good match. Weird reason, but you know what? The 2000s were weird. And let's head backstage for a second. We got that Hardcore Championship running wild. As stated previously, Hurricane is the new 24/7 Hardcore Champion. Who pins him in the back? That is his little sidekick, Mighty Molly. So she is the new Hardcore Champion. So this next match is a dream match of mine. It is a dream rivalry of mine, and that is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Scott Hall. Rewind, yes, it is a dream match. Seeing these two men in the ring together makes my heart happy. That being said, this was not that great. It has also been said that Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's walked out of the company before. After this WrestleMania, apparently he, took his ball and went home because he was really not happy about the route his character and storylines were taking. So all of you probably know that WCW was a thing at a time. We talked about this at WrestleMania 17 when Shane McMahon was the new CEO of WCW. Invasion storyline is a thing of the past at this point. At the beginning of 2002, this is when Vince McMahon said, I'm going to inject some poison into my company. The person that's going to ruin this company is me. I'm going to kill my own company. That whole stuff. A few weeks later, we get some boys that jumped ship to WCW, and that is none other than Hulk Hogan, Nash. Scott Hall showed up in February 2002 at the No Way Out pay-per-view that we talked about previously. They revived the NWO, the New World Order. So Vince McMahon brings these three back. They want to take on the guys from WWF. So this is kind of when it gets sticky. There's a lot of egos going on, and at the end of the day, it was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18 and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Scott Hall. We had Stone Cold Steve Austin kidnapping Scott Hall, tying him up and putting him in like a freezer. We had Scott Hall and the guys from NWO spray painting NWO on Stone Cold Steve Austin's back. And then to retaliate, later on, Stone Cold Steve Austin spray paints 316 Scott Hall's back. Like, okay, cool. Love it. This match was under 10 minutes long between Scott Hall and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And like I said, it wasn't a great match. Stone Cold Steve Austin did allegedly walk out after this. I mean, it is what it is. We have two legends. You have Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then essentially what Scott Hall felt like in this whole feud was just one of Hulk Hogan's henchmen. What are we doing here? It wasn't for anything. Yeah, we still got 3 matches left, so it's definitely not the main event. Not long after this, in 2002, this is when Scott Hall would actually get released from the company because of his addiction issues. I mean, rest in peace. He, we all go through some stuff. You could kind of tell in this match, he wasn't really, Scott Hall was not his best self. Then after that, after that in 2003 is when Stone Cold Steve Austin leaves as well because of, his neck and his back, his booty and his crack or whatever. That's inappropriate. Maybe if WCW wasn't a thing and these guys could have met up years previously, it could have went a little bit better, but it definitely felt off. Now, because I'm a mark, I still liked the match just because of the 2 men in it. But the next match is my least favorite on the card. There was nothing enjoyable about it. Okay, that's a lie. And that is the 4 Corners elimination match for the WWF Tag Team Championship. That is the APA, the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Bill and Chuck. Bill and Chuck being Billy Ass and Chuck. Again, I don't love these kind of matches unless they are done perfectly. Too many damn people, don't love it. I didn't care for this at all. Bill and Chuck went in as champions. Bill and or Chuck hit somebody else over the head with the belt, and then they ended up winning. Again, least favorite match on the card. So far, I love WrestleMania 18. This match, 13 minutes, I want my time back. That being said, I do love the participants in this match, but bye. Now, let's get back into the NWO trying to take over the WWE, and that is Hulk Hogan versus The Rock. You guys know from my previous WrestleManias, I never wanted to see Hulk Hogan again. Hollywood Hulk Hogan, I gotta give it to the man. This match between The Rock versus Hulk Hogan was spectacular. I loved it. Glad you came back there, Hulky. This match is only 16 minutes long, and I really suggest that you guys watch this match. I thought it was I'm surprised this wasn't the main event. I loved the most about this match outside of the match, the ending. The Rock, outside of wrestling, looked up to Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Previously to them feuding and everything, he brought that up, how he looked up to him as a kid. At the end of this match, The Rock does defeat Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, he's like, you know what, kid? Shakes his hand, gives him respect. But Kevin Nash and Scott Hall do not like this. They do not like that he shows respect to The Rock. They come out and actually attack Hulk Hogan. The Rock jumps in and protects Hulk Hogan, throw Scott Hall and Kevin Nash out of the ring. Rock, he's like, you know what? I'm going to show my respect to you. Gets Hulk Hogan to do his Hulk Hogan signature poses, the ear, the flexing, all that stuff. And you can just see the look. Just look at The Rock's face. Like how it looks like he's having an out-of-body experience. They go up the ramp and he's just like looking at Hulk Hogan like he just saw Jesus himself. It gave me the goose pimples. I'm not gonna lie. You could just see that little boy, his face just transform into that little boy looking in such awe that The Rock cannot believe that this is his real life. It's It is a beautiful moment. Say what you want about Hulk Hogan. I will all day, but man, loved this. Now we're going to get into and breeze by the only women's match on the card, because this is my second least favorite match, and that is Jazz, the champion, the women's champion, versus two of my favorite women, and that is Lita and Trish Stratus. All of the women on this are fantastic. That being said, this match was about 6 minutes long. There was some cool spots in it. Jazz does end up walking out victorious with her belt. She pins Lita. While Trish Stratus is outside of the ring, she got thrown over the ropes. Trish Stratus, she hears that Jazz won while she's out, and she's kind of looking around like, I just lost in my hometown. Because yes, Trish Stratus is also from Toronto. Lots of Torontonians here. I do want to say though, Christian, on this card, he is not billed from Canada. Nay, he's a heel, so he wants to be billed from Tampa Bay because that's where he's living now. Whatever. Speaking of Christian, I do want to go back to the back. So Mighty Molly is court 24/7 champion. She gets knocked out by a door. Who knocked her out? It was Christian. Christian wins the hardcore championship 1, 2, 3. He runs away with it, super happy. But as we talked about before with his temper tantrums, and when he finally wins something, he loses it right away. Well, he runs. He's about to get into his cab. Who comes out of nowhere? Well, that was the champion from the very beginning. That is Maven. Hits him, 1, 2, 3. Maven not only steals his belt, steals his taxi. He's out of there. As we talked about before, the main event, this is the last match on the card. That is Triple H up against the undisputed WWF champion. That is Chris Jericho, and in his corner is who? That is Stephanie McMahon, because she is out with a vengeance against her soon-to-be ex-husband, Triple H. Stephanie is kind of, you know, she was with Kurt Angle, she's with Chris Jericho. She just really wants to get back at Triple H. Previously to this WrestleMania, Triple H took some time off. He came back. He was a fan favorite. And, you know, Stephanie McMahon becomes a needy wife, a Klingon, if you will, 5-stage clinger. She fakes a pregnancy to, like, get Triple H to renew vows together. So, you know, she's just trying to take him for all he's worth at this point, because this man was like, you're a weirdo. And like I said before, Kurt Angle was trying to get the #1 spot. Angle won at No Way Out. Ric Flair made a rematch and Triple H won. So here we are, Triple H, fan favorite. Love that for him. This match was 18, almost 19 minutes long. It was also a very good one. Stephanie McMahon trying to help out Chris Jericho all she can. Had a lot of fun watching this match. Triple H in his heyday, fuck, that man was A1, and same with Chris Jericho. Going into this match, the undisputed WWF champion was Chris Jericho, but Triple H walked out victorious. I love these two men. They are great. That during this match, Triple H does give Stephanie McMahon the pedigree, which, I mean, can't get away with that too much nowadays. I have to be completely honest with you guys about WrestleMania 18. And I don't want you to think that I'm being biased because it was in my hometown. I liked it better than WrestleMania 17. I did. I had top to bottom. I mean, there was a few things like the 4-corner elimination match I didn't really care for, but I liked it better than WrestleMania 17. And I did take a poll over on my Instagram. I have heard different things, but most people did like WrestleMania 17. I loved this so much. I'm going to have to give it an 8.8 out of 10. I will be back next week for WrestleMania 19. We are almost halfway there, y'all. Thank you for joining me, and see you next week.